Hey guys, what is up, and I welcome each and every one of you to a new League of Legends video. Today we're going to be going over a new post made by Riot, and this is a pretty big one and important one. They're going to be talking about a lot of changes they're doing to the ranked system for preseason and season 11 and all that good stuff, which is of course very important stuff. So with all that being said and done, guys, if you enjoyed, don't forget to hit that like button. Let's just jump right into it. Let's check out the post. Let's read it together. Let's go through it. Let's do it. So, welcome back after a long okay, so this is just like an intro, whatever. Since it's been a while, we're going to go over our goals for the season and some of our core outcomes and outcomes we expect. So, goals and changes. So, what are the goals and changes? This year, we wanted to get into the core of our competitive systems and clean up some problems that have been painful for quite a while. Specifically, we've been working towards the following. So, these are the ones that are currently shipped, of course, right here, and these are the ones that are obviously still in progress. Ooh, that's some serious like. So they want to improve the queue matchmaking quality without compromising queue time and availability. So the ones that they have done are these ones right here. We don't really care what they've done at this point. It's done, it's shipped, whatever. What we care about is what's coming. So they want to improve transparency around ranked and matchmaking systems. So in progress, ranked informed matchmaking that aims to match only with those who are of a similar rank as you are. Improve progression satisfaction and skill expression in our systems. So they want interdivisional promotion removal. So like, for instance, I don't know, like gold 3 to gold 2 or something. Duo changes to Master Plus. So they're removing duo queue entirely from Master tier and above. So Master, Grandmaster, Challenger. And they're going to have the structured unlock of Master Plus tiers, which is interesting as well, which we'll talk about soon, of course. They want to make rewards more recognizable and relevant for time spent in League of Legends. So they want updates to Victoria's thematic and content. And they also want to make it so players can play with and find other players that they want to play with Flex Queue and Clash. We've talked about improvements to matchmaking quality and ability to play with others more readily through autofill parity, pre-made parity, and new matchmaking methodology and flex restriction removals. We've also been diving deep into behavioral systems, which they talked about before, how they want to improve toxicity and things like that, which I have made videos on. So let's talk about preseason, where we're shoring up the final matchmaking changes for the year, diving into progression improvements and revisiting rewards. So coming in preseason, division promo series removal. Pretty much, guys, TLDR of this one right here, which we'll read through it, but they're pretty much removing the promotional stuff from, like, you know, again, Gold 2, Gold 1, Gold 3, Gold 2, right? You still have it from like Gold 2 to Plat 4, or like Plat 1 to D4, or, you know, etc., that kind of stuff. That still exists, I'm pretty sure. But interdivision, between the divisions, within Gold 2 to 1, whatever, it's gone. So, interdivision promotion games were initially implemented to provide compelling goals for players to tackle between tiers. At best, they were a source of relief when you won, and at worst, a source of major frustration when you were bounced out for the 5th time in a row. True. We wanted to revisit the original decision and solve for unnecessary frustration and climbing blocks between solo and flex queues divisions. As such, at the start of preseason, we'll be removing the interdivision promotion series in both queues and making the following changes to avoid ranked inflation and rubber banding. So for instance, to avoid complications with this, they're gonna, on division promotion, rolling leftover LP into the next division. So I'm pretty sure this means going from like gold to platinum or like silver to gold. This is where this applies. Rolling over leftover LP into the next division. And removing interdivision demotion protection for players who are at 0 LP. So for instance, if you're at, let's say, I don't know, gold 2 0 LP, and you just promoted to gold 2 0 LP, there's a good chance that off of 1 or 2 losses, you will go back to gold 3. But on the bright side, if you go back to gold 3, you don't have to play promos again to get back to gold 2, right? Ideally, it's maybe 1 or 2 wins back to gold 2, right? So it's kind of like that. So that's kind of the idea behind that. As this change is directly targeted at making the experience better for players at the divisional level, it will not extend to tier promotions. So it's gold to platinum, which we just talked about. We still believe that between... Okay, whatever. Let's go on to the next one. Ranked informed matchmaking. So 2 of our core goals this year center around matchmaking quality and transparency of our ranked system, which is good. A lot of people complain about how currently, like, you know, there's just very imbalanced matchmaking. You know, just you have way too much of a range of tiers in one single game, especially in higher elo. So let's take a look what they're doing here. So though still primarily determined via MMR, we're laying on new guardrails that we're calling ranked informed matchmaking. These guardrails will ensure teams are more balanced from an LP and division perspective, in addition to being balanced from an MMR perspective. We measured the success of this change by the difference in LP with your change and between the two teams. Our preliminary simulations are already showing a significant improvement in the following areas. So, no changes to MMR difference between team. Within team LP differential cut by 40%. Between team LP, okay, let's be honest here. We read this, doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Luckily, they gave us a little bit of an explanation right here. So, what this means on your side is that you should see very, very few games where any players in your lobby are more than a tier apart, which is good. You don't want to be like a gold 2 facing a plat 1. That's a little strange. This change, paired with other matchmaking changes below, will bring match quality and visible rank closer together, and we're excited about these things. Perfect. Next, this is one I'm actually kind of curious about. Ranked seeding. We spoke earlier this year about our ranked seeding explorations, highlighting the value associated with placing players more accurately when they are first placed in ranked queues. So essentially the first like 10 or so games that you play when the season starts. A less volatile experience, for both new accounts entering ranked and veteran accounts when paired with these new ranked accounts. So during our initial exploration, we realized that our methodology was a bit too simplistic. While our first versions did show improvements to new player placements, we were still off against our accuracy target. These accounts were winning or losing more games than predicted after initial seeding, which signaled that they were drastically misplaced. Okay, I guess that makes sense. So pretty much we're saying that a lot of people got drastically elo inflated off of the first few games that they played. And these tests took place shortly after our previous blog. So most of these misplaced accounts that were identified as Smurf accounts, and they cover a large spectrum of skill levels. So pretty much, it seems like they're going to be doing a much better job in terms of actually seeding your rank, like placing you in a proper position or place that you belong in after you play your placement games when the rank starts, which is good. So that you don't get put too high up and then you just start losing games. The people that get you on their team or something like that start losing games because you are way too high, higher than you belong, etc. Apex tier changes, Master Plus. Throughout this year, we've been reviewing the way the ladder works at the very top. And we have some concerns with consistent match quality and generally just how players experience what is supposed to be a collection of the best individual players. And wow, thank you, Riot Games. Wow. Regionally, there are vast differences with play rates and expectations for climbing. Some players, or rather some problems that keep coming up are integrity around duos versus non-duos, autofill by role, disparity, etc. For preseason, we want to make a stab at really solidifying the statement that players at this level are the best individuals on the server. We aim to make the playing field as balanced as possible. Our first experimental change is to remove duo queue for all players at master tier and above during preseason. Well, that's interesting. That's gonna be pretty. I think it's a good change though. Master and above, that's a good change. For the majority of the ladder, we can effectively make matches to balance out pre-made across teams. However, duos at the top level make it more difficult to provide fair matches. Because there's less people to pick from. Sometimes you just kind of have to force people to play against duos, even though maybe they don't want to, just because there's less people at the higher level, because there's less just people at that level in general, which is good. We understand that for a portion of Apex players, climbing with a buddy is preferred way, but okay, so they're just trying to justify it here. So pretty much they're removing duo queue at Master Plus, which is huge. And the start of season Apex unlocks. So our second change to the Apex tier is focused on providing a meaningful experience in the form of Master Plus unlock progression. So pretty much unlock Master tier immediately, and then you're gonna need 200 LP for Grandmasters and 500 LP for Challenger. That's pretty interesting. So essentially what they're doing is instead of having the Grandmaster and cutoff and the Challenger cutoff constantly be, change and fluctuate, it's just gonna be hard set now. So you instantly get Master tier at, of course, that section, but now you need 200 LP for Grandmaster and you need 500 LP for Challenger. That's pretty interesting stuff. So then here I'm sure they describe it, and then end of season. End of season rapidly approaches. We want to take a brief moment to talk about what's coming in the form of rewards. Specifically, ranked seasons are defined by the victorious rewards we distribute at the end of the season, and 2020 marks 10 years of ranked. And the victorious team hasn't evolved as quickly as the competitive landscape. True. Is that talent? Who is that? What is that? What picture is that? So, in new to 2020, you also receive a chroma for each tier you reach above gold to represent just how high you climb during the season. That's pretty cool. So you get a little bit of extra rewards now based on how high you actually climb starting in Season 11, of course, which is also obviously pretty cool. Then you talk about Clash over here, which if you guys want, there will be a post released as I make this video released that you guys can check out. But I don't really personally talk about Clash too much, so I'll leave it here if you guys want to check it out. But either way, that is going to be it for this video, guys. There you have it. A bunch of rank changes coming over to us, of course, for Season 11, preseason, all that good stuff. Massive changes for ranked. Either way, guys, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let me know by hitting that like button. Let me know what you think about these changes, of course, down below. Let me know what you think about all the changes to duo queue, etc. And yeah, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you for the next one. Peace, 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 peace.